Alrighty, so we are getting straight into picks and bans. First one on the board for Baggy Pampers. It's going to be the Ball, the Bear, and the Malphite taken off. Silvermanes won the coin toss, and they elected to go to the red side.
Yeah, with that red side, it's going to give you a definite advantage in final pick. Most teams tend to save that for their top laner in the current patch. That being said, we could see it go somewhere else. I know that Baggy Pampers is the kind of team that will play weak side properly. They will pick their mid and top laner early if it means that they give a strong bot lane to Josh and Gaming Lord. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens after these initial bans.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the draft philosophy behind them. Both of them coming off a loss means that you start to kind of reevaluate how you approach the game, I think, to a certain degree. And then I think definitely, too, like, you start to learn where your strengths and weaknesses are within a specific tournament. And a day like today, where you're playing a bunch of series back-to-back, you don't have all the time in the world to adjust, where you're kind of having to make some on-the-fly calls and, like, really work with your team to figure out what is and isn't going to work. So interested to see, like, how both of these teams are going to approach it, because Silvermane's really impressed me with, like, their comeback in the second game, where they looked like they were going to be able to take it, but then just kind of got outplayed by Big Bird Club as the game went on. Just the scaling wasn't in their favor and they made some mistakes, but there's definitely a lot of potential there.
Yeah, definitely. I think the bans that we are seeing right now in this set are pretty standard. The Scion takeaway, as well as the Urgot for the side of Silvermanes. That being said, we do see Silver getting his signature Mordekaiser. Last set, I was actually able to take that away from him in game 1, and so he was not able to play it, but excited to see what he can do on this champion this time around.
Yeah, and then obviously going to be paired off by the Victor. I like the Victor for Silvermanes. It was actually a really, really good pick for them in that second game. It got a tremendous amount of work done. It just, in the end, it was getting picked off a little too much by Big Bird Club. They were able to get on top of it. They were able to keep it out of the game after he kind of went 4-0-1 for a while, so it looked like he was going to run away with the game. So I definitely know that for Silvermanes, they're going to be happy to have that one. And they're kind of running back that second game draft a little bit, where they're trying to get some a little bit more survivability in that bot lane and then having zone control with Victor. And then as you raise, like Mordekaiser, Silver's going to have to absolutely love having that champion, loves to be on that comfort. Interesting to see what they'll pair with that, though. How do you feel about the Mordekaiser Jarvan combo as it works? Because Mordekaiser kind of isolates things in a 1v1, so the Jarvan combo, it seems like it's drafting it for something else.
I don't necessarily like seeing Jarvan this early before we know what AD carry Silvermanes could grab out for Demps.
Yeah.
I think if Demps chooses anything that has some kind of escape, whether that's an Ezreal or something else, or maybe even a Kai'Sa for the ultimate disengage, I think it makes Jarvan and Orianna's job, now that we just saw that locked in, a little bit harder. That being said, it's a very easy composition to execute on. And they don't necessarily have to dive onto the AD carry. They can go for Victor or Nami or one of these other characters. But I think pairing Jarvan with Orianna does make a lot of sense. You have a very easy game plan, very simple to follow. Your team fight setup's pretty simple. Mordekaiser can hang around the backside and take out Zahin if he tries to dive on the backline.
Yeah.
And so I think it can work.
I do like that they've already paired the Orianna with this Jarvan. That's kind of like one of the OG combos. Throw the ball on top of Jarvan, he gets in, gets the Cataclysm, and then Orianna presses her ult on top of that. Everyone gets pulled in, and then you just have a lot of passive damage from your ADC. But I agree that I don't necessarily like seeing the Jarvan without knowing what ADC is going to pick, just because there's a tremendous amount of escapability that you can draft to get away from it. You can also just like ban or pick champions that give you invulnerability from things. It's weird that Baggy Pampers would choose to ban the less mobile ADCs. Like, I do know that like in the laning phase you don't want Caitlyn, Nami to be there, but if you're talking about being able to abuse potential matchups, you would want champions that necessarily can't get away from you. So interested to see that the Caitlyn hit the ban board there.
Yeah, and I think that Baggy Pampers have done actually a pretty good job. Despite banning the Caitlyn, they're doing a good job of forming Silvermanes into a box where they're going to need to pick an on-hit AD carry, or I don't see how they're going to be able to kill the Mordekaiser late game. They picked the Teemo into it, which is a pretty good lane counter. Mordekaiser can't really do anything to Teemo throughout the game, and Teemo can just take pot shots the entire time, which is pretty easy for him to do. That gives players a slight advantage to the top side, but they're lacking a lot of core damage to kill the Mordekaiser and this Nautilus in the later game, so I'm wondering how they're going to answer that right now with this AD carry pick.
Yep. I do like that the Jarvan and Nautilus are put together, though. I think that gives them a fairly strong bot lane. I'm a little tongue-tied because Teemo, not the champion I would have thought would be going potentially in the top lane against Mordekaiser.
It almost seems like they're picking lane priorities. They're trying to give themselves stable lane states, and we thought that the Ezreal would come through, and it does.
We don't have to wait too long to see what's going to happen because both these teams are on the Ritz. It is Baggy Pampers and Silvermane. 0-1. Silvermane, obviously, again, reiterating they won the toss, so they are going straight to the red side where they'd be very, very happy. A lot of questions. Teemo in the jungle, Zaheen in that top lane. I'll be honest, that was not what I was thinking was going to happen. So it's Zaheen versus Mordekaiser and Teemo in the jungle. I have concerns for the Teemo clear speed. I mean, I can be totally wrong. Listen, like, maybe Silvermanes have been cooking. They know exactly what they're doing. Massive respect to the team. Like, they try things that people don't know about, and they're not at any way, shape, or form. Like, they don't have to justify their strategy to anybody, except if they lose, and then they have to do a lot of justifying. But listen, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, especially because Teemo is going to start invading and stealing those camps. More importantly, was not seen going into that side of the jungle.
Yeah, 100%. And my question is, is he actually going to be able to get away with this entire bot side? Presumably so. Nard will obviously try to full clear first and foremost. And like you said, didn't step on any wards, so free bot side for Teemo. We're going to have to wait and see what Nard does in response, though. If he comes down to his bot side, does he track straight over to Silvermane's top side? I'm not sure. And yeah, what you said before is super true. You win with this comp, you look like geniuses. You lose, everyone's question pinging you.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, too, is it's like, I think, Tango gonna blow the heel to get a little bit away from Gaming Lord and Baby Josh. Huge trades there on that bot side. That's to be expected. That Gen, that passive, that 4-shot passive is absolutely massive. It's kind of that trade where, like, you never know, like, who's gonna win that in terms of, like, Ezreal has the constant poke, being able to set up with the E and the Q, but then, like, or is his W the, I can't remember what it's called, but the W or the E plus the Q, just doing the extra damage.
I think it's the W.
The W versus, like, the Gen 4-shot passive. Like, you never know really who's going to win that. Ignite down onto Silver. Double trade in the flashes, but will eventually walk out of there. Baby Josh, meanwhile, is going to land the root on top of the Teemo. And since that's definitely not what he wanted, had to blow the flash, got a little bit of a heal from Dimps, manages to walk his way out of there, but for the Teemo, that was definitely not what you wanted. Also, that is going to confirm to Nard that, and since it was, in fact, in his side of the jungle, and is just going to go clear the other side of the camps and make sure that he gets a red buff.
Yeah, so two things that we really kind of skipped over briefly. Incen, we should have known. It's Incen, right? Yeah. He's going to take the Teemo jungle. What are we thinking that Zaheen's going to go in the jungle? I think Teemo jungle is actually fine into Nard. Even if you jump on top of him, Teemo just sits still and actually kills him. Oh, Nard can catch him.
Nard, he's here. Polaris, obviously no flash. Had to burn that earlier. Flag, drag, and a little bit of poke. First blood to Silver, and that is what we were talking about. The comfortability on the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I feel like Polaris should have known better. He knew that Nard had to track back up to the topside jungle to clear, and he was still stepping out with no vision and just gets punished for it.
Yeah. I mean, you called it out exactly. Like, he should have known he was there. And I think some people are like, well, how would he have known? It's like, well, okay. So Teemo knew that Jarvan hadn't come down to that bot side to check things because there was vision and he had just cleared through there. Hadn't seen Jarvan in a time that it would have taken him to walk down there and, like, confirm that the camps were gone. So logically, you're thinking, okay, Jarvan should be in that top side clearing camps. And I have no flash. Like, if you're players, you should be respectful of the fact that the jungler is going to be somewhere. If for no other reason, then he's probably trying to go get Krug. And if Silver is calling that there's no flash, then it's just an easy gank.
100%. Yeah, as soon as the Teemo gank fails bot side, bot lane's telling Nard immediately, hey, go to his top side and take his camps. He already started your bot side. And so, yeah, that's another way you would immediately know.
One of the concerns I have with the Teemo, other than the fact, like, it is going to be decent as far as farming, at least in the early game things, and then, like, being able to have some of the utility in terms of providing vision and, you know, just passive tracking for anybody that's walking across rooms, is the objective taking thing where, as I'm going to pause there for a second, because Nard is walking to his jungle. It's pinging that Teemo was there. So they know he's somewhere in there. There's a potentially call for a wraparound. They think that maybe he might still be there, but they're going to discover that he's not. But the concern I have, and maybe you can speak to this, is like the objective taking for Teemo where, you know, if you're trying to take something like a dragon early and you don't have a lot of help, it feels like Teemo kind of just has to catch somebody doing it.
100%. It feels like you have to just track Teemo, which is easy to do. And if you do it, this jungler falls apart. It's one of his core weaknesses. And just speaking from experience, having played with Incen for quite a long time, he actually used to be a member on Momentum. This guy will play anything, any kind of jungler you could imagine. But what he loves to do is invade. So you have to constantly keep your bot side warded. And right now, I only see one ward, which is already mistake number 1.
Yeah. And they're going to need to start getting a little bit more aggressive, I think, just with the passive vision keeping there, especially with a team composition like with what Baggy Pampers has, where they can, they can move around the map fairly easily, and their team fight coordination is fairly easy to put together because of the champions they've drafted. And they've already got early prio on this track, so I would imagine that Teemo's just instead going to try and continue farming up camps, maybe look for a small gank opportunity somewhere else, but it's going to be about 2.5 minutes before any sort of grubs are available. He can, I think, realistically take those with level 6, although I don't think it'll be quick. But yeah, I mean, objective-wise, it's going to be Silvermane's having to give up some space for a little while, I think.
100%. I think if you're Teemo, you give this up, you take both sides, and we even see him right now. He's pathing towards the top, the top side of Baggy Pampers jungle. He's going to take that out nicely, and then he'll go back towards his top side, and he should have a farm lead on Nard.
I'm interested to see how this topside matchup is going to continue to develop too, especially since Polaris kind of gave over some of the early pressure. That first blood gold going over to silver is going to feel really good, as Mordekaiser has just the blasting one and the ring, so we'll just have some passive mana regener there, but doesn't really necessarily need it because he's an energy-based champion. But I think Polaris, like that ult on Zehen is really not the greatest when you're locked in the death chamber with Mordekaiser, where he just gets the passive do damage, and that resurrect doesn't really help you all that much.
God, that is disgusting.
Oh. And he ate a turret shot. Yeah, he ate a turret shot. Doesn't even look like he took that much damage.
Yeah, it's, you pick Zehen. You pick this champion. You pick this champion with the thought of, oh, well, this guy's really good in the bash your face into the enemy laner style of fighting. And it just doesn't matter when you're against Mordekaiser because he has so much shielding and passive healing from the Conqueror stacks.
Yeah. And it's actually one of those lanes, too, where, like, even if, Insensate starts to get a little bit of a lead and, gets some itemization and finds, like, a gank opportunity, I feel like you kind of even don't want to gank the Mordekaiser as a Teemo, because if he has a 3-stack on that passive, like, he doesn't need to auto you. Like, he can do a tremendous amount of damage just through his abilities alone and the passive burn damage. So, like, even being a Teemo in the instance of, like, stopping the auto attacks with the Q, it doesn't really help you all that much. So the ganking thing is what I'm worried about from, like, the Teemo perspective. But sure, maybe it's great on, like, utility and map tracking stuff. Oh, Polaris. That is not good.
Yeah, the grab and slam. Yeah, no, I agree. That's there's two core difficulties with having a Teemo as a jungler. A, his gank's very mediocre. He has no point and click CC. His follow up to even your CC is mediocre at best. And his secondary problem is that he's very easy to counter jungle.
Yes.
Now, once he hits level 8, level 10, level 11, he starts getting that second rank in his ultimate. He starts planting shrooms down. His objective control starts to become oppressive. And we're just going to have to wait and see if Silvermanes can make it to that point without significant casualties.
Well, and since it's still doing a great job and actively invading, like, even though, like, Jarvan has tried to get as quickly as he could, like, through all of his camps, Nard trying to be proactive.
100%.
Like, Teemo is just, I think, a little bit faster through the map. Ooh, nice hook on Dimps. But it's faster through the map, and it's just able to clear those camps faster. And, like, that's the kind of the ultimate goal for junglers, is reset level 6 as quickly as you possibly can. Get to as strong a point as you can before you start team fighting. And, like, the zone control that Teemo provides in that instance where you, like, it's because it's an additional thing you have to work through. Like, oh, like, okay, I know that Teemo's level 6. Like, I know he's got his, actually, we may be seeing it now. Yep.
He's doing it.
Getting bullied out of his jungle. But this time, like, it's another thing you have to clear. It's like, I have to be wary of all the shrooms that might be in this area. Dems going to throw out the ult, but not a lot for it.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about how they didn't really have an identity on the side of Silvermanes as to how they wanted to conduct fights. I think at the end of the day, all they're looking to do is zone control.
Yeah.
They've got Polaris on zone duty, Incense on zone duty, Lucid on zone duty. They kind of want to create these pockets of control around the objective, but we haven't seen them rotate to the objectives early enough to actually set that up.
Interesting that Baby Josh did not throw out the ultimate there onto the Teemo. I mean, the support mind in mind is like, oh, my mid laner is like right there. Excuse me, Jarvan's fairly close by, flag and drag. Like, if you walk over there, we could potentially get a kill, but I get probably good discipline to just hold on to that and save it for something a little bit more influential, potentially when, like, the next dragon spawns in about 1:25, because, the old timers are a little bit long right now, but I don't know, it's just that bloodthirstiness in me. I was like, oh, you could have ulted him and potentially had a kill in a Teemo. You don't have to worry about zoning if he's dead.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think that Nard is playing this pretty well. I think that he is... for being as invaded as he was, he's only 9 farm down. All of that put together, and he's got an assist, so the goal is relatively even. I'm just wondering if we're gonna see Silvermanes give over another objective, or if we're gonna see them actually play to their team comp strengths and start setting things up. We're going to have to see Demps and Dank Pengu start pushing out that bot side if they want to get any control over the next dragon.
Absolutely. Well, I think for now, like, they're going to have to wait until they feel strong enough to do that. And in order for them, I think, to even get anywhere near a potential dragon contest, they're going to have to move as 5. I think you probably have to call Polaris down.
I think you give it. It's already done. Yeah. Teemo's top side, this dragon's theirs.
Yeah, I think you're just going to make the trade. Like, yeah, we'll sacrifice camps on the top side. We're going to go ahead and grab this dragon. It's coming up in about 20 seconds. Realistically, Teemo's not going to be able to get there fast enough. Although, what would change that if somehow someone got picked in this bot lane. But, yeah, Arcade Barrage, not going to hit anything. And so, yeah, the pings should just be coming down to go ahead and grab that objective. Teemo, I think, just going to be happy to continue to try and farm up and say, listen, we'll delay this. 2 dragons is not the end of the world. Yeah, they've got the stacking going. That kind of sucks. But ultimately, you can still play around that as long as you're proactive in other areas.
100%. And they're question pinging Teemo right now. The side of Baggy Pampers spotted him out on the top side, and they're saying, go, go, go. This dragon's ours. And at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, what dragon are they actually going to pull the trigger and say, enough's enough? It's time for us to get the objective instead. We do see, please investigate. Having a run.
Lucid, he popped the ghost to get a little bit closer, and since it is going to be tagged up a little bit, rooted, flag dragon, yeah, they don't even want him getting even any closer. Wanted to try and see if the dragon was within smiting range. Unfortunately, it was not, and now this is going to be the Egress back onto them. Demps and Dank Pengu, they might be in quite a bit of trouble here. Lucid trying to make ways toward the fight. Nard just focusing the drag. Lucid trying to zone out, please investigate. Who else will die? Flash over the wall. Lucid avoids the dragon, flag and drag, but gets hit by the Cataclysm. Demps and Dark Pengu, what else can they do? Please investigate. Just trying to hold on to a little bit sliver of life. Flashes away, wants to see if he can make his way out of this jungle, but Nard slowly dying, doesn't manage to get it. It's a 1-for-1 there. Dark Pengu should be able to pick up, please investigate. A lot of people die, a lot of action in that bot side, but ultimately, it's BP coming away with a bunch of kills and the dragon.
Yeah, Nard and Please Investigate showing us why they're one of the best jungle mid duos in the league. They showed us the exact same synergy that they had in their series versus Team Q, where they're just constantly playing around each other's strengths. We saw a very good dive from Nard onto Lucid, which immediately was followed up by some damage from the Orianna and resulted in his death and the dragon take.
Polaris, that's the end for you, buddy. Unfortunately, you're not close enough to your tower to survive this one. He gets to get over the resurrection. The passive's going to pop. It's over. Not going to be able to keep the passive up for too much longer, but yeah, it's just going to repop it now. Ooh, flashwave. Players might be able to turn this. That's the shielding, the passive damage, the auto! Oh. Silver gets it in the 1v1. Huge outplay for the Mordekaiser on the top side. Silver playing like a platinum member.
That's right. Silver showing us why you cannot give him this Mordekaiser. It's the entire reason why we picked it away from him in game 1 of the last set. We know what he can do on this champion. It's absolutely disgusting. He's able to play it into almost any top laner that you can imagine, and he's showing his expertise in it right now against the Saheen.
All right, Black Mage, you ready to do something very, very fun? I'm going to hit the replay button, and you're going to break down that 1v1 for us. Here we go.
Okay, let's hear it. So, Silver looking for some control in this lane. He's trying to push the wave under the tower. He knows that Polaris has to answer the wave. He has to get the last hits, which is going to allow Silver to get as many slams as possible. Misses his first, but he's able to get some auto attacks, which is about to trigger the passive. Gets the second slam, huge damage immediately into the ultimate. It siphons his stats. The response from Polaris with the immediate ultimate, trying to get as much health as he can. That's going to cause Silver to set him into resurrection mode. Now, at this point, what he should do is back off. He does not win this fight past this point, even with the damage, because Silver still has shield. Silver pops it. He's able to respawn immediately with the slam auto, and he gets the kill.
Yeah, fantastic analysis. I mean, and that's the one thing that makes it really, really difficult in trying to trade against some Mordekaiser is the fact, like, just when you think you have him down, like, he pops that passive shield, gets a little bit more survivability, and then you're still burning to death. So, fantastic outplay by Silver.
Yeah, it's going to set him into a nice position moving forward. He's already looking almost to be 40 farm up, and that's going to be, or no, it's that 50 farm up.
50 farm up.
It's starting to become a huge problem, and here's where we, what we talked about earlier with Incen on this Teemo. As good as he might be counter jungling, you need someone to come up and help Polaris, or are you just going to give the entire top side away?
Yeah, Polaris has no flash, no ignite. Conceivably, he can go down here if he's not careful. Does Silver grab him again? Yes, he does, but the CC gets him out of the range. Gets underneath
It's
the
his
tower.
ultimate, though.
Yeah, that's his ultimate. Well, I mean, you highlighted it too, like all this invading that you're doing, but what are you getting for it across the map? Are you trading cross objectives? Are you setting up for some other kind of objective, like a neutral, maybe setting up on something like a Herald, trying to get vision for that? Are you making any active plays towards mid lane, putting any pressure on please investigate? You know, and right now the answer to that has been no. And so far, Baggy Pampers, I mean, they have command of the map. They can kind of do what they want right now.
Yeah, I think if you're on the side of Baggy Pampers, you are playing as Mordekaiser top, and you're this ahead, you know, no matter who comes up, you win the 1v2 or the 1v3 because you're just going to ult someone, kill them, and then you're probably so statted up and busted that you can just 1v2 them and win.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Instead, should not expose. Oh, he dodged the...
He's going to get rooted up. Yeah, they didn't know he was there, so they didn't have enough vision to expose him or grab him, so he got lucky out of that one. But that's one of those things where you're almost happier being lucky than good, but not so lucky that you'd be able to get the neutral objective because guess who got the Herald?
Yeah, another objective over to the side of Baggy Pampers, and like I said, I'm waiting to see this zone control comp coming in and playing to its strengths. Oh, that's so much damage.
Is there an Arcane Barrage? He's very lucky that there is not an Arcane Barrage because that might be an easy kill.
Let's see it, Debs.
Yeah, unfortunately, no Arcane Barrage to throw out there, but would otherwise step forward and do it. Yeah, it's off cooldown. Speaking of cooldown, Lucid getting engaged on there by the Jarvan Nard. Walking into the Cataclysm. You'd love for the Orianna to get it, and she, in fact, does the kill. Donated over to the mid laner.
It's such an easy setup. It's like you said at the beginning of Champ Select. It's one of the oldest combos in the book.
Yep.
And they just execute it flawlessly there. Please investigate rather another kill.
Well, and this is a point I made when I was casting the LBLCS earlier this week, was talking about the ease of execution and compositions. Like, it's not just the fact that like it's pre-existing combos that work or that, you know, the abilities are easy to understand. It's also the ability to focus on what you're supposed to do in really tense moments. And the easier that your combinations are to pull off, the easier your game plan is to execute, the less likely you are to mess it up in those really, really close moments where things aren't necessarily going your way, or there's a lot of chaos, people are dying, there's a lot of abilities being thrown out. And like, you know, that flag drop combo with the Orianna ball, that's one of those things that it's super easy to set up.
It's super easy to set up, and like we said, I mean, their whole comp has a very easy identity. It's not hard to play. You understand just by virtue of what your champion's kit is, where you need to stand in team fights, and it automatically converts over into team fight wins. So this game is looking harder and harder for Silvermanes to pull out a victory for, and we're just going to have to see if we see some kind of miracle play coming out from their side. Maybe Polaris gets a nice ultimate onto multiple members, and there's a nice long team fight, but we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah. I was thinking that maybe someone else was still up there. I was thinking, for whatever reason, I just didn't track that Mordekaiser wasn't still up there because I was thinking they wanted to make a TP play on a Polaris. But no, I mean, to your point, like, you would expect to kind of see more out of this, and right now, I mean, no disrespect to Silvermanes, but I think that the Teemo is just not proving to be the pick right now. I mean, since it's going to get locked in this ultimate, he's going to try and do what he can, but he's just going to passively burn down. He lived for about 5 seconds in there, and then that was over. So I think whatever value that they thought they were getting out of this Teemo, it's just not happening right now, and they're losing a lot across the map because of it.
Yeah, if you have no, like, let's actually watch this. It's a lot of damage.
Dems is going to miss the Arcane Barrage. Dank still ticking. It's going to be the curtain call. Dank Pinko going to be the next to drop, but they need to try and get out of here. Gaming Lord just on a sliver of health. Isn't going to live, though, as Ezra's going to pick up the kill there. Baby Josh might be the next on the menu. Is going to be able to get underneath the turret, so it will just be a 2-for-1 in the end in favor of BP, but surely this bot lane turret's going to fall.
Yeah, Gaming Lord falling there, but not before he gets the Huang Face special there. Gets the instant ultimate onto the right shot for that nice kill down on the Dank Pengu, but at what cost? They do lose the tower, and for the first time, we see a positive play going over to the side of Silvermanes.
Yep. Very important to note, though, that wasn't the first turn of the game, so they're not even getting much of an advantage. Uh-oh, Teemo, nowhere to go. You're tracked in the Cataclysm, dead, gone, dusted, sitting in gray screen.
Yeah, you hate to see it. A great play from the side of Silvermanes immediately into double death. Just going to put them even farther behind. We're only looking at a 6k gold lead. It's not insurmountable at this point in time, but every laner seems to have completed some items and working on their second still, so... Oh, that was so close.
Dimps, good dash away. Well, good blink, rather. Arcane shift. The other thing I think to kind of counterpoint to that as far as the gold lead. I mean, yeah, 6K, it doesn't feel good. It's not insurmountable. Like, a couple good team fights could really swing that back just because of the shutdown gold available and then, like, some of the passive objective gold still on the map. However, I think never mind this. I was going to make a point about dragons, but Denkpig was he was only fighting the dragon. Arcane Barrage stun. Gaming Lord wants to see what else he can do, trying to get that 4-shot stack. Hook lands again, threw it underneath the tower. Nard with the Flagger Jack came really close. Double bubble, but they should be walking out. The turret's soon to fall. Everyone slaps each other around a little bit, but walks away.
100%. I know exactly where you're going with it. The Dragon Soul is the biggest challenge, and if they get the Dragon Soul, this game's probably done.
And it's Mountain.
And it's Mountain, so it's even harder for them to do what they're trying to do. That being said, what we were talking about earlier is that if you're not going to choose a hard engage on the side of your team in the jungle, you need to have it somewhere else, whether that's in mid lane, support, or top, and they just didn't draft it into anyone.
Let's do a countdown on how long this team lives, because I'm thinking it may not be very long. He's back in. Okay, so he's not going to get seen. Nard, does he?
No way.
No, he doesn't. He was suspected, but I just think maybe I don't think he actually knew if he was there. We'll never know.
It's kind of
just
mocked him.
Yeah, he just kind of mocked. It's like we're just gonna choose like he let him live. Like I knew you were in there. I let you live because I don't care about killing you right now.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean the gold is going to continue to kind of grow. So the thing I wanted to ask you, so this Mountain Soul, I'm a particular fan of Mountain Soul. I think it's a great soul to have passively. I don't think Silver's in any danger here, so I think we could talk about this. I think you should just be able to walk away. Give us your tier list of Dragon Souls that you think are like from like best to worst.
I think it entirely depends on the composition you have, but I'd have to say Hextech is probably tier 1, then Fire, then Mountain, then Wind, then Toxic, whatever it's called.
The Chemtech?
Chemtech, yeah.
I think for me, it's Ocean Drake, Hextech, Mountain, Infernal.
I skipped Ocean.
Yeah, Ocean Drake. And since it Flash is over, but Silver also has Flash. You're going to Brazil, he says, and sends him straight to the Death Realm. Yeah, Silver. I mean, you know, it's hard not to be excited seeing a performance like that, but also it's just like, he has 4 kills. Like, you're not even surprised anymore that people are just getting eviscerated
100%.
by his damage.
There is good news on the side of Silvermane.
Is there? Okay, give it to me.
Silver can't play Mordekaiser again.
That is good news. But he can play other champions. So what do we do about those?
Oh, you mean Scion? Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I think you have to really think. You have to do a little bit more homework going into this next draft if you're on the side of Silvermanes. I want to see some easy to execute comps, something a little bit more standard that's easy to play and set up, because all that Baggy Pampers is going to do, and what we saw them do against Team Q, is you just draft the way you're supposed to your strengths, and you play out the team comp as it's designed, and you're going to come away with wins.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, though, coming away with the win does not start by giving away 4 unanswered Drakes. I mean, they've not even been in a position to even look at these Drakes. That is how far ahead BP have been like this whole entire time and taking his objectives. So massive respect to them. And whatever you guys did to them in this last series, they are kind of playing with a vengeance right now. As Curtain Call is going to come out, it's going to be a momentary stop by the wave. Hook's going to land. Double stun from the Deadly Flourish. Flag, drag, Dark Pingu, just trying to survive everything. The fact that he's lived this long is kind of crazy. They're going to use the depth from below. Maybe Josh is going to in return get stunned dub. He doesn't make it out. All of that spent to try and kill the Nami, and in the end, it's the Nautilus that dies.
Yeah, I mean, Baggy Pampers is a great team. When we played them last set, you know, it was a 2-1 for a reason. Both games, all 3 games were really competitive outside of game 2 where they slaughtered us. And they slaughtered us because we drafted poorly. They outdrafted us, and that's basically what happened. We came into the game, you know, our game plan fell apart because their comp is just so well executed, and it looks like they're doing the same thing here. They're just drafting simply, they're outdrafting the opponent, and they're executing, and we're going to see them probably take the win for that.
All right, let's look at the replay there of that play in the mid lane. So, Dragon's getting taken there. Walk us through kind of the overzealousness shown towards trying to kill this Nami.
Yeah, I think that they believed Nami was just a little bit easier to kill than she was. You know, the ultimate coming out that early with Nami ult available is a little silly because it can get countered so easily. Baby Josh doesn't land a nice Q followed up by Nard, but they know that Pengu saw his flash. So now you've wasted 3 ults for the cost of one flash. In my opinion, that's probably worth it because if you have any follow-up team fights, you're most likely going to win them pending that nothing crazy happens.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think it's a little bit of an overforce there. I think ultimately it won't hurt BP. Ooh, as that Shockwave kind of went a little wide. That's a little unfortunate. Dims manages to dodge the course there. Trading that. Dims is doing a lot of good damage. Is the Arcane Barrage going to come out? But I think ultimately that play for BP in the mid lane, it's not going to hurt them that much. It doesn't really stop them. Like, they didn't lose anything for it other than just the support. No disrespect to Baby Josh. You are important. I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things, you know, if you got to lose something, lose the Nautilus.
Yeah, for sure. If one of your members has to die, 100% probably should be the Nautilus. I mean, hey, that's the support's job, right? Sacrifice yourself for the team.
Absolutely. And do it in as efficient and expeditious a manner as you possibly can. Don't make me wait.
Yeah, and well, they're not losing anything, right? There's no objectives up to take. I mean, Baron was up, but it's not like they're actually going to be able to sneak Baron with Nard still available. So, yeah, I'm liking this control that's coming out, but there's no reason for them to really be there. So I guess they might be looking for some kind of pick.
They're just stealing away camps, I think, right now. The point I want to make in terms of like being places you shouldn't be, I respect that Sunset is trying to be proactive. We got to fight in the mid lane. This looks like a carbon
100%.
copy of the fight we just watched. Well, this time, Baby Josh decides to not pursue that further. But the thing that's bothering me a little bit right now is, like, Insensate has picked this Teemo, and, I mean, it is farming really well. It's 183, you got 2 completed items, you don't have finished boots yet. But you're 0-4-1 and have had very little to no effect on the game, and I not to put too fine a point on that, but I'm just wondering, like, hey, when are you going to get involved? Is Dips now trying to get away, flashes over the red Baron, or the red buff pit, and we'll get away for now, but, I mean, they're just, Silvermage is just getting bullied out of their side of the jungle.
Teemo's bot, Baron's up. What do you think they're going to do right now?
They're going to team fight mid.
If I'm Baggy Pampers, I'm calling the Baron. Yeah, there it is.
This is just, I'd like to play the segment of like, what's that league play? It's a bot lane push. It's the Baron.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Teemo bot is the play. That being said, what we did say earlier, Incen, it's good that he is playing still aggressively, trying to do something, trying to be proactive in some way. I think that the only way you win in this game at this point is you have to shroom up your lanes like crazy. Hope that Baggy Pampers overcommits onto a tower dive and hits up, too many shrooms, takes too much damage, and you're able to retaliate in some way. But with no go button on the side of Silvermanes, I'm not sure if you even follow up on that damage with anything.
No, I agree. And I'm going to say something a little controversial, and maybe this is out of pocket, and you could definitely call me on this. Twitch chat, anybody else, any other analyst that's looking at this can call me on this. Obviously, we're not privy to the comms or the particular mood of Silvermanes right now. Like, we don't know what they're talking about. We don't know what the mood is. We know that they're probably still trying to fight. But to me, when I'm looking at the quote unquote the body language of like the way that these guys are playing, and I'm looking at like how Insensate is playing, to me, this looks very solo queue-esque, where it's like, hey, like, I'm just going to put my head down. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to farm. Don't ping me. Like, to me, it almost looks like, hey, like, my mental's kind of kaboom right now, and I'm just going to do what I want to do, because, like, he's not getting anything. He's still continually farming in the jungle to no effect. He hasn't even proactively shroomed any major objective. There's nothing serious going on where you're like, okay, we're getting some value out of this Teemo. He's just, like, to me, it's like he's going to die here. So I'm sorry, no disrespect, but there's something wrong going on here with this Teemo pick, and like either they've just quit on this game or like Insensate has just checked out.
I think he's trying to take something. He knows that he's not going to be able to really do anything defending mid, but I think what he could have done, which might have been a little bit more proactive there, is you start shrooming up around Elder, and maybe you position in between mid and Elder in a bush, and you tell the team, hey, let's try to chase them over into this corridor where I'm waiting, and we can have them maneuver into some shrooms.
Yeah, and speaking of trying to maneuver, Silverman's going to be trying to maneuver this way out of this team fight. Is the curtain call not going to get much of anything done, but it accomplishes the objective of just pushing everybody away. They're going to be able to go reset, come out here, and be ready for this Elder. And speaking of being ready for Elder, what would have made it nice for Silvermanes would have been to have an Elder that would have been easier to contest with mushrooms. So I get the point of, like, the potential value of, like, he's trying to trade something, and yeah, he's stealing away the camps, but then you have to follow that up with, like, you have to be proactive in some way, and so it's like, okay, you spent all that time on the bot side Where are the shrooms? Where is the aggressive vision? Where is the clearing out of the enemy's vision? Where is potentially setting up flanks? Like, I'm not seeing any of that, and so to me, that signals like, from an individual standpoint, hey, maybe they're calling it mentally quits on this specific game, or they're going to try again. Obviously, we don't know what they're talking about, but to me, it's like I'm not impressed with the Teemo, and I'm left wishing that it was something else.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, if the game just ends right now, or if they actually are able to stall it out, and then. But presumably, yes, they know that what position they're in. They probably are discussing, hey, what are we going to start drafting next game? Let's use this time to give us a little bit more preparation going into that next set. And if I'm Silvermanes, I'm probably just going to lose gracefully here, try to keep the game going as long as I can. But ultimately, all that Baggy Pampers needs to do is group 5 and push mid, because they know that Teemo is going to be taking their camps on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, and there's not even a wave being cut right now, so this is going to be free base egress. I mean, he should have backed a long time ago to try and set up the base defense for this, because there was always going to be an egress here. And yep, this is just going to be, please investigate, going unstoppable. Ezreal is dead. That is an inhibitor down. The base is effectively cracked here for the side.
They still have ultimates.
Yep.
Yeah, Baggy Pamper still has all their ultimates. All they need is one wave here, and I think it gets cracked open.
Yep. This, I think, is going to be a massive draft question when they go back and look at this one. Is the hand going to try and get on top of it? Polaris, not really much going on. Gets caught up in the Cataclysm. Nami keeping everybody healthy, but the Elder Dragon is just lasering people down. And Sunset is the next to go. Double kill for Please Investigate. And this should just be the final touches on this first round of this first loser bracket matchup. And Baggy Pampers, they are playing with a vengeance right now. They want to get straight back into winning ways. So they're going to cap it off with a win on this, the first win of this series. They're going to knock down this final Nexus turret, put the final damage in. Lucid, not even safe under the turret. Please Investigate, going legendary. Third kill, shut down over to the Ezreal, but it's just a cosmetic comeback. The final touch is going to be put on the Nexus. And Black Mage, they're on match point already.
Yeah, they're on match point. If they lose one game, they're going home.
Their prospects would be to get a win.
1,000%. 1,000%. I think if you can pull out a win right now as Silvermanes, your mental is instantly tripled in terms of what you believe you can do and how much you believe in yourself. I think that Glacier is going to inject some well-needed, let's say, standardization into their team comps. I think we're going to see something a little bit more straightforward that we didn't see earlier today. I wasn't privy to watch the first set. I would imagine there was some funkiness going on. It's kind of Silvermane's play style. But I think now that Glacier stepped in, we're probably going to see something a little bit more standard and something a little bit more easy to execute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to see like what draft adaptations they'll make from that. And speaking of those draft adaptations, something you called out that they needed to do their homework and be a little proactive in banning the Scion, which they have done. They do not want Silver getting his hands on that champion, and I think a good call out there. So a little bit of a master of predictions yourself, which would make a potential game 3 interesting to see whether or not that ban carries over. But in the meantime, Baggy Pamper's going to pick themselves up a staple. Ooh, okay. We're going to talk about adapting to draft. Vayne hitting the board.
Yeah, and you can use this as a really good flex. We know from what Silver plays, it's not very many things that are good into these ranged top laners. I would imagine that we are going to see that Vayne top side, and it is not going to go bot. Vayne into Caitlyn is extremely difficult if Caitlyn plays the lane correctly, especially with a support that has some disengage. So I would imagine we will see that Vayne top, and they're probably trying to taunt Baggy Pampers into picking something like Shen, or, something along those lines, melee, short distance, maybe Renekton even, that Vayne can punish heavily.
Yeah. My one concern, obviously, would be the poking, getting poked out in lane, is just to see what they'll pair the Caitlyn with. There's a number of really good poke supports. You can pair it with Karma, you can pair it with Zillion, you can pair it with Melio. I mean, anything you want. You can pair anything with that Caitlyn, you're going to come out ahead. So my potential worry for that being poked out in lane, that would be the one issue. But honestly, in team fighting, Vayne, massively oppressive, very hard to lock that champion down, super evasive, and a tremendous amount of damage. So it's not one or the other with Vayne. You get the best of both worlds. But a great way to lock her down would be to make sure that she can't run away anywhere, and Wukong, really good at doing that.
Yeah, Silvermane's really, like I was saying earlier, they're really trying to sell this bot lane, Vayne Braum. I just don't buy it. I don't think Vayne's going to go bot lane. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times in my life. It's fine. The Wukong does complicate things. It is a good pick into the Nocturne. If Nocturne engages onto Ahri or Wukong, the Wukong ultimate is a great disengage tool. Caitlyn's got a little bit of disengage, but still has to be quite scared of the Nocturne. Ahri's got her ultimate to disengage, of course, as well. So Nocturne is an interesting pick. I'm not sure if there's too many great targets here. I'm just wondering what they're going to pair with it mid. Now, here's the thing. Mel is available. It hasn't been banned out. Mel is a great counter into Ahri if played well. It just doesn't really combo in with Nocturne correctly. You can't really have those awesome setups, especially because we saw Orianna already taken out in game 1.
You know what does combo well with a Nocturne? A Galio. You know what would also be great into an Ahri? A Galio. Having some of that
100%.
passive magic resistance and another global obel to work, a global ultimate to work with it. So I agree. I think the Vayne potentially,
Galio.
yeah, there's some risk here in the way that this goes, but you can start to shore up some of that by drafting some more complementary pieces toward the Nocturne. And Nocturne is one of those champions that there's the Mel.
And the Mel.
There's the Mel that you talked about. Obviously doesn't necessarily pair well like you talked about with some of these other picks, but does have great laning, gives you plenty of damage, and I think really not that badly hurt by some of the adjustments in the recent patch.
Yeah, not badly hurt. The Q is a little bit easier to predict and land, but yeah, no, Mel's still in a strong space, especially into a lane like this. She can counter the charm, and it instantly hits. Yeah, the Karma, Caitlyn is just a scary lane to play into. Not too much disengage, but I think they know that Vayne is not going top. I mean, is going top, rather. I think they're going to pick a range top lane or something very safe. I don't think they're going to go Shen here. If they do, it'd be a little risky, but Shen would also be a pretty good pick. We're going to have to wait and see.
Other available things for them. Cassante is available. Trying to think what else they would be comfortable with. I mean, you really don't want to play Ambessa up there against Vayne. It really doesn't help you all that much. Yorick would also be another potential champion that could go up there, but the Renekton, it's going to struggle into that Vayne. Renekton, it's about the Renekton Vayne is a lot of skill matchup, but that slice and dice really hard to land when she could just pin you to the wall.
Yeah, it's hard to land. I wonder if they just pick a mage bot lane just to wave clear nonstop against Caitlyn, try to mitigate that lane out, or if they a Shen themselves. That is going to go bot lane. So they pivoted. I feel like they figured, hey, we can play Vayne Braum into the Caitlyn Karma matchup. That's, in my opinion, pretty hard, but Braum does have his disengage and his wall to mitigate a lot of that poke damage.
And Silvermanes, they are fighting for their tournament lives. BP, they are looking to put Silvermanes away, get back to winning ways, and extend their chances in not only this tournament, but then also the chances to win that sweet loot. And of course, it'll be interesting to see who they might potentially meet up with in these lower brackets as time goes on. But they're hitting the rift, and no one doing anything in particularly sneaky this time around.
Yeah, well, I think how the bracket works out, if Baggy Pampers ends up winning, we're going to see a rematch of what we saw last month, where Baggy Pampers will be against Team Q. On the flip side, the next match that's streamed, I believe, is our set versus Big Bird Club.
Absolutely.
That'll be really interesting.
Yeah, a little bit of a shameless self-plug. They want us to make sure everybody's watching Momentum. Take on the Big Bird Club. Make sure you watch it. And but that one is yet to come. We'll be excited to stream that one when it gets here. 2 winning teams, obviously. It's always interesting to see, 1-1 team or 1-0 teams. Who's going to come out that 2-0? Who's going to the 1-1 bracket? And then, who would play the potential winner of this game? I think is the winner of whoever plays TTQ. I think is also a lot of fun. So, someone pointed out earlier that we might potentially see. There's a way that we can see Big Bird Club in 4 games. So if you guys beat them, we get to see potentially Big Bird Club in 4 games. If they make it through the low bracket, win those, and obviously that's assuming that, Momentum. I'm not biased or anything because I got my co-caster on the desk right like that. I would never be so shameless.
I mean, to be honest, we went into our first set. We really didn't know what to expect in terms of who would come out on top, and it was a very even series. So it almost seems like we just had a slight advantage coming into draft, and that's why we won. But Big Bird Club, huge question mark. I'm not really sure how good they are, and I didn't watch the first set, so I have no idea how they played against Silvermanes.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair, and looking forward to seeing this potential matchups. That's the one thing about having an extended tournament is, especially when everyone's kind of starting off at even footing, you just don't know how the day's going to go, and you have an idea of, how you think certain teams will perform, but, you never know. Some teams just show up on the day, and they way surpass your expectations. They play beyond their limits, and I think that's what's exciting for a long tournament like this, so interested to see how that'll start to shape up. The point I wanted to make now that we've a little bit into this game is exactly what we were talking about with as long as Shin is played conservatively and correctly, it kind of just bullies this Renekton, and that is what is happening right now.
Yeah, it's a very tough matchup, and Polaris seems to know that matchup very well. It's one of the most common picks against Renekton that I see, at least in solo queue, and it's something that you should know how to play if you are a Shin player at all. And yeah, we see him already forcing him off the wave, and he's gonna collapse this wave, and I think Silver's gonna have to TP, and he does.
Yeah, and it's going to suck to have to burn that summoner a little bit early because any chance to make a proactive team fight anywhere else on the map gets greatly reduced. But I think you have to because you don't want to go down too much farm experience, and you want to make sure that you're getting that goal because Renekton is very item dependent. Dominus is a great ultimate, but it's only as good as the items that you have with it and trying to get the value. But on the flip side of things, bot lane, massively getting bullied. Dimps and Dank Pingu, they are just going to have to eat it for a little while.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. The Caitlyn Karma lane is oppressive, and you have to play against it perfectly as Dank Pengu to negate a lot of this damage. And it is kind of like one of those things, we were talking about it in Champ Select, that we kind of wish we saw Demps go, or the Vayne go top on Polaris, just because we knew that something like this might happen. I would almost have rather seen something like, maybe a Syndra or...
Yeah.
Ziggs bot lane, something that can push out wave easily and get some return damage.
Well, the Ziggs bot lane, I think, would have made a tremendous amount of sense just because the AoE, like, you're not so worried about trying to land the trades, like, your AoE damage to the minions, so it's fairly easy to farm up there as long as you have a pretty good support. But I think, to your point, like, if you were going to draft the Vayne and the idea was to even threat them was going to go top lane, then at some level you have to commit. But respect to Polaris, like, he's showing that, hey, this doesn't really matter so much. But I still think, like, a missed opportunity if you were ever going to draft the Shen in order to, have that kind of capability to push out the lane or just have extra protection, then get yourself a different ADC.
Yeah, that being said, if Polaris opted into taking the Vayne top, we would not have the Shen Nocturne combo that Absolutely. We expect to see towards the mid and late game. But it is what it is. We got what we got, and Polaris seems to be playing the matchup fine, although right now he is getting bullied out, and he's probably going to drop some of these minions. Yeah,
it's a small item differential, but that's to be expected. When someone has to blow the teleport, you're going to at least come back with something. It's not a lot. Only coming back with a longsword doesn't really feel the greatest if you're the Renekton, but it's better than nothing. So Shin's back, I think, will be fine. And as long as he continues to play this passive, like you said, he should be okay. He's level 6, so and he's going to farm underneath this turret. Shin is actually, I think, really good at doing that. Just like the way he can absorb damage and then just still kill minions, like because some of his AoE on the auto. So yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, 100%. Something that I did want to shout out, some of the viewers have pointed out, the graphic for the team logos on the loading screen is incorrect. We will fix that after the game. Don't worry, everyone.
Which ones were they pointing out?
During the cam.
Oh yes, screen. I'm sorry. I haven't uploaded. I did not upload. I did not have a chance actually to fix the caster cam one. So yeah, we'll fix that the next time there's a dual caster cam. Sorry, that's my bad, guys. I'm one man doing the production team stuff. So yeah, we'll try and get that corrected as soon as we possibly can.
So far, so good. If you're on the side of Baggy Pampers, you want this game to just go very steady. Don't give too many kills early that you don't need to. You are going to be scaling in these lanes. The more levels you get, the more items you get, the stronger you get. That being said, Glacier is about to hit critical mass. Once he hits 6, I am just itching to see what he does with that Nocturne.
Yeah. That level 6 is, I think it's very dependent on the map state in terms of like where things are at from other champions. Obviously, you want to catch somebody that's like overextended, but I think like as soon as you've like even visually see that Nocturne is ticked over to level 6, like just the very threat of that ability, like okay, now we're gonna play a little bit more conservatively. We gotta watch out.
100%.
Because if we don't know where he's at and we know he's got level 6, like we could just be in danger.
Yeah, there's so many people that say the threat of the Nocturne ultimate is almost worse than the Nocturne ultimate itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree to that to a certain degree. Like, it's just the massive amount of threat that it could leave. First blood going over to Silver, though. All right, he's answering how he feels about the whole matchup with the Shen. Sorry, so I'm trying to fix the graphic.
Yeah, we saw you're good, Shen. We saw him taunt in and miss, and that just allowed Silver to ult immediately play around him, wait for the W to wear off, and then he just out trades him heavily, flashes in and gets a kill. That's a huge win for the Renekton.
Yeah. And I think for him it's going to be nice to kind of put a stop to that sort of passive winning that Shin was kind of doing in the lane. He is going to be coming back with Tiamat, though, so that won't be the worst. But I mean, first blood gold, like that really helps you kind of break out of some of that pain points of that lane if you were just passively getting bullied. Because the ult's going to be thrown out, and not a whole lot of damage put on to Please Investigate. And level 6!
It helps a ton. It helps a ton for Silver. And here's the thing. Polaris took Ignite. He doesn't have TP, so he's going to lose waves because of that, or he goes down one wave because of it. And Silver, without Ignite, is winning the lane against a counter matchup. You can't really ask for much more from your top laner. If I'm on the side of Baggy Pampers, I'm giving all the praise to Silver right now.
No, absolutely. I mean, and not only that, but I mean, look how proactive they've been across the map. Like, yes, Glacier is now ticked over level 6, but they already got their first dragon, so there's not even a play to be made there for the side of Silvermanes to even try and take that away. So, I mean, massive respect to them. They've done a really good job in being proactive. Like, they've managed sort of the more difficult parts of the lane state so far. Silver is going to be feeling really good as he's getting ahead this lane. And, yeah, I think for them, just continue to do what you've been doing and passively stack your advantages.
Yeah, and Silver's also going for the Black Cleaver, if I'm not mistaken, with those item combos. And against Shen, who's trying to go for Titanic Hydra first item, he's going to nuke this guy if he gets even a single combo onto him.
Yeah. All right, let's take stock through some of the other lanes. Mid lane, fairly even. Bot lane, though, obviously exactly what we expected with Gaming Lord Baby Josh. They are just getting so much passive poke, constantly shoving waves underneath the tower, denying some of that CS. Top side is going to be feeling really good. It's going to be the second objective going towards Baggy Pampers. They're going to be very happy to have those grubs, especially like with Kate and with Karma, and then also like Renekton when he's given alone time with that turret. Like, just they're going to start shredding through those plates. That's going to feel nice. And I mean, they're in a really good position right now. I think for Silvermane, you're kind of there we go. There's the gank that we were talking about. You had to be cognizant of it. Yep. It's going to be the Stand United. Silver, is he going to manage to get his way out of this one? There's going to be the fear, but it's going to walk him towards the turret. Can he survive just a little bit longer? Wukong with the ultimate. They didn't manage to get him, but there should be no return here. Oh, he's going to go to the Cyclone. Wants to try and knock down Glacier. That's going to be the second kill going over to BP. Can they make it a third? They want to try and knock down this Shen, but no. They're just going to be happy with what they've got for now, and they're just going to walk out. No. Silver may not be, though. Slice, dies, has the Ignite, and taunted him. Shut down, though. Manages to get something for his trouble, and Nard can only watch as his top laner goes down an extended fight, but ultimately coming out ahead for BP.
A big sigh of relief from the side of Silvermanes. They are so glad they got something back on that play. If they wouldn't have, I almost think you mentally are cracked as the top laner at that point. But Polaris, Monk mental, shout out to Hooli, able to pull away with a kill there, and steps away without them losing too much.
All my homies hate Hooli. We want Hooli to shave his beard, so we're hoping that whatever bets Hooli has made, he loses all of them, so that we can see him shave his beard, which we will, I think, stream live here on the TLS. So if Hooli has to lose his beard, we're streaming it. I can't see chat because I've got so much other stuff open on my computer, but I'm sure that he is hoping to hold on to his beard. But we would all like him to shave it, and of course, this is the pathway to make that happen. But no, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's if you're the top end, like if you're Polaris, you almost need to come away with something there, because if you commit all those resources with a Nocturne ultimate and shutting off the lights and using the what we call the not so yellow submarine and having Stand United come through and trying to CC the Renekton, and then he gets away and then you lose somebody and get nothing in return, that is a really difficult spot mentally to recover from.
100%. Super difficult to come back from, especially when you have a Nocturne on your team. Nocturne's one of those champions. It's feast or famine. Yep. If you're not getting any kills in the early game, you almost just become a CC bot towards the late. That being said, we do have the Polaris delivery system, so it's going to have some utility the entire game simply because of that combo together. But you don't have a lot of damage to actually win these team fights until Demps gets a few items. And right now, he's going for Trinity Force. This makes me think he's going for the Tribute build. Have you heard of this?
I have not. Tell me what this is.
It is Trinity Force into full armor pen, and it absolutely slaps. I wonder if he's actually going to build it on the Vayne. It would make sense considering the team comp on the side of Baggy Pampers. You're probably not going to have too many. You're not going to have too much time to auto attack over and over again. The armor pen build almost makes more sense. I wonder if we're going to see it.
Have a question though. What armor are you shredding?
It scales. For some reason, it scales better against squishy targets because your autos start doing true damage. I'm not entirely sure how the math works. I'm not an 80 carry main, but I know that Tribute plays Vayne, and he always builds Trinity Force into Armor Pen, and he, like, 3-shots squishy characters. So, I don't know. It's just a thought. A fun thought.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. My only thing is, like, if you can index into just straight up more damage to some degree, like, because it's not really going to get mitigated, because Renekton conceivably is not really building any armor. Neither is Wukong. He's not going to go in armor build. I mean, he's got a Triforce too. So, I mean, but honestly, if it is doing flat, like, if there's a damage calculation where it makes more sense to build armor pen, then yeah, that's the right call. That's going to be the Paranoia landed, though, and yeah, that's the ultimate instinct getting away. That was a lot committed. Now they're going to try to get a Cyclone on top of 3. Glacier's surely going to be the first to go down. Dark Pengu on the wrong side of this one. Demps trying to get anything done. The health bar's so low. Wants to get something. Lucid goes out the ultimate, but it's traded for the Vayne in the end. A jungler is down for both teams. Neither can look to take this objective. They will just walk away, but it's a 1-4-2 in the end. BP still coming out on top. Ooh, the root thrown back, and Lucid got his way out of that one.
Yeah, I think if you're on the side of Silvermanes, it's okay. You come away with the kill on the jungler. At least they're not going to take Dragon for this, so you're not going to lose too much. But if they lose tower, it's a little sad. I think the fight idea was correct. I think Glacier had a great idea that they had to go on to Gaming Lord in that state. They forced his flash, but at that point, you've already got Please Investigate rotating over, and he's able to start doing a lot of damage on the backside, and it just causes too much chaos to the point where Silvermanes can't follow up and do any more damage to Gaming Lord.
Absolutely. So let's play that replay and break it down for us.
Yeah, so the ultimate comes out from Glacier onto the Caitlyn, forcing the flash immediately, but you got Ahri coming down right behind the team, immediately charms and destroys Glacier with a double Q hit. That turns into an immediate kill onto him. Meanwhile, you've got Demps doing some damage, and he's able to combo that with Lucid to end up killing Nard, but it doesn't matter because Please Investigating Gaming Lord able to do more return damage on the Demps, eventually taking him down. You hate to see it, but yeah. Hopefully Silvermanes can pull back from that.
Well, it's almost one of those plays, too, I'm wondering, like, the mentality of, like, okay, could you even pull back from that play? Because at that point, you're so far in, like, you just have to continue to get something because you're not going to get out. Like, you've been completely rotated on. You've already pushed so far into the jungle. But we may not have the opportunity to find out here. Glacier wants to try and get in. That Smite's going to miss. He smited way, way too early. But the health bar's going low. It's only on to the clone. 1 cent fleeing. Renekton in the middle of multiple people, though. It's a triple kill. What else can he get done? Polaris trying to see if he can intervene in any way, shape, or form. Lucid flashing out, trying to survive. Gets hit by the charm. It's a quadra kill for Silver in the jungle. And maybe for a moment, it looked like it was going to go well for Silvermanes. But the croc in the river said absolutely not today.
Silver so close to the crisp $20 bill that's due for the first person that gets the pentakill from Huli. That being said, yeah, it looked okay. It looked salvageable towards the beginning, but I think as soon as Glacier stepped on the trap, it was so cursed. There was no response, and then you've got Silver coming right over the top of the team, ults into 4 people, and just gets massive value for it.
Yeah, let's see that replay again. So you're going to start right here. You see where the dragon, there's a miss smite, goes straight into it, and now they got to turn and be at the team fight. Where is Renekton, though? Coming in through the backside. Everyone's stuck in that dragon pit, absolutely nowhere to go, and he just slices and dices straight through all the health. And I mean, at that point, like, if you're at Silvermanes, there's really nothing you can do because you've committed for this dragon, you've missed everything, and now you've got 4 members dead. And the only one to walk out was Polaris, and yeah, that pentakill, it's a whispering in Silver's ear.
Yeah, Silver is so ahead now, and like you said, as soon as they got into that dragon pit, it was a damn blender. The slice and dice makes it true. Just gets some massive value that Renekton. There's no better champion you want in a position like that. He's in the right place at the right time, and it just looks like Silvermanes needed to pull the trigger at a different time. I think they were too scared to let that dragon go. And I just think it's a little silly considering it's only the second dragon. You didn't have to commit that hard.
Yes.
We're going to have to wait and see if they plan out a different team fight moving forward. Maybe they're able to pick out some side lanes, play towards Gaming Lord a little bit better, but all of them being in the pit is not the play in that instance. And as you can see, Demps is going that Essence Reaver, not the Trinity Force.
The only thing I could think of that moment was Crocodile Guacamole, the way he was just spinning and dicing them up into a nice, tasty kind of dip, and turned that into a nice, tasty quadra kill. For an uncomfortable moment, though, I thought that Glacier was going to try and intercede himself on top of that. Herald. And look, massive respect where it's due. Like, Glacier coming in, like, no notice, just, you know, passively watching, and then is brought in to sub in on the second game of, you know, the second series of the day for Silvermanes. I mean, huge deal for them. You know, huge deal for him to be trying to step in, and he's doing, I think, everything he possibly can do. Still looking for these moments, and it's good that he's not shy about it. Like, he's actively trying to make plays as the Final shot going to come out, and a missed dimps. That turret not long for this world, though.
Yeah, they're only 4K behind. It's salvageable, and they've got a team comp that can really pick off side lanes. I think if they play around Silver correctly, if Shen gets some more armor items, the longer this game goes on, Silver is going to fall off. Renekton is a very scary champion at 2 and 3 items, but after that point, if you've held on long enough, he starts to really not do much. He's just a side lane threat at that point. So,
yeah.
You know, if BP is one of those teams where I know they know how to play this mid to late game, I think they're going to try to look for 1 more, 2 more big team fights and then immediately end. I don't think they want this game to last much longer than that, especially with Vayne on the side of Silvermains. So if you're on the side of Silvermains, you have an easy game plan. Hey guys, we've got to look to probably not contest this 3rd Drake. We need to get more items in the team. Unfortunately, it's going to be Dragon Soul. What we need to do is set up for the Dragon Soul. And possibly, if they try to do a Baron take, we can dive their backline with the Shen Nocturne combo. Other than that, they should not be fighting.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, the name of the game for Silvermane is to stall this as long as you can. Give your Vayne time to build up resources. Give Mel time to get strong. You know, give Nocturne plenty of opportunities. You highlighted too, like playing around Silver. The philosophy should be wherever the Croc is not. Wherever that guy is, go the opposite direction. Find someone else to kill, because if he has anybody near him to help him, it's going to be very, very difficult. Paranoia coming out. This might be the answer. Flash out. The fear never actually landed. It's going to be the Glacial Treasure on top of multiple, but Cyclone buying just a little bit of time. They got one. Baby. They got the Caitlyn. They got the Karma. That might have been what they needed. Please investigate. Gets over the wall. Nard to follow. It's a 3v5. 30 seconds before the Dragon. The death timers are going to be a little bit longer, but they can still run out. They need to try and find something else here. Get this Croc would be the answer. If you take him down, this team fight gets so much easier. But he might be killing Dim straight through the shit, and in fact, he does. He's unstoppable. Now what else can they do? They've got to throw everything at this Crocodile. They will eventually knock him down, but it becomes incredibly expensive. Nard might be the next to follow. If the jungler falls, this Dragon is free. Please investigate. Just wants to buy a little bit of space. Gets taunted. Nard down. This is the way back into the game. Silvermanes, it's on a platter, and they make the most of it. They're going to go towards the drag. They may have found their way back into this game.
It's an absolute miracle. The fact that Demps goes down was such a bad play, but they immediately turn it into an immediate turnaround. They kill Nard. They kill Silver. They're going to be able to get the strike.
Oh, this is not going to be uncontested, though. Please, what do they want to do? Please investigate. And the Gaming Lord, they're trying to make something happen to this. They're going to at least get one. Can they get in there? No, they managed to steal it. They get the drag, but can they manage to get out alive? Polaris didn't get close enough to get the taunts off. Now he's going to die. They get 2 kills for 1 Dragon, and at the end of a very long team fight, BP, I think they're okay with that. They would have liked to get the drag, but it's definitely not the end of the world.
Yeah, at the end of the day, a better play for the side of BP, but at least Silvermane stems the bleeding, and they pick up 2 shutdowns by killing, or 1 shutdown rather, by killing Silver.
Yes.
I think overall, if you're on the side of Silvermanes, the way you play that fight a little better is you needed to drag out that Dragon towards the bot lane. The lane was in a good state. You could have just walked out at that point, and I think there's no real reason for you to play so aggressively to the point where you're not gonna really catch. Please investigate. You're not going to catch anyone else on the side of BP. You've used all your abilities, so I'm not really sure if that was just an overstep or maybe some miscommunication. But we've got an ultimate coming out.
Speaking of overstep, Paranoia going to be landed on top of Silver once again, but it is forced on this Crocodile. This is a tremendous amount of danger. That is the 2nd time in under a minute and a half that they have killed him. This gives them so much pressure. Could they do Baron off this one? It would be an incredibly aggressive call. Shen is towards the bot side, but they've got to answer mid. You're absolutely right. It's a good pick, but they need still a little bit more.
Yeah, I do like what Silvermanes is doing. They've got, obviously, some life set in them. They know what they need to do to win, and they're doing some proactive plays. Let's see if they can just keep doing this up into the late game, and I think they might be able to take it.
They're doing kind of the opposite of what I said that they probably should do, which is they're seeing that Croc like, hey, if you're by yourself, we want to come after you every single time. But, I mean, that's what they do need to be doing. Like, if you can catch one of the powerful members of this BP team off guard and you can limit his ability to be effective in this game and start to stop him being effective in the side lane, then you should absolutely do it. They're going to call out the Herald towards this mid. I think maybe not the right call for that. Probably should look to use it somewhere else. And but they are just going to charge it straight towards the mid lane. They'd like to crack open this base if they can. Nard will get out, but ultimately they're going to walk away.
Yeah, it is past 20 minutes, so getting the inhibitor would not be the worst thing, but it would inject a ton of gold into Demps. So I don't think they're going to take the inhibitor for anything. What you were saying before, yes, I think it's really, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You want to kill the Renekton so that you stem the bleeding coming from your sidelines, but if you do that, BP is going to do exactly what we just saw them perform, which is basically a mid push or a bot push, and then they're going to get 1 or 2 towers for it.
Dental pings coming out there. Wanted to see if maybe for a constable moment that Dane and Shin wanted to try and make something happen, but they are just going to push Silver all the way to this lane. They will see the ward. It won't get cleared, though, so a little bit of passive vision there. And hey, shout out to Glacier right now. He's doing exactly what he needs to do with the paranoia. He's setting up these plays and enabling the other members of his team to start knocking down this Renekton and limit his ability to be effective in this game. And I think as long as they continue to do that, they'll have success, but they need to start trying to find advantages elsewhere on the map. Start trying to answer this passive push that the Renekton has, which I think is a little difficult right now. You still need multiple members to answer him, but they are well on their way to getting this game back into an even state.
Exactly. I think at the same time, you have to play so defensively. You have to think. You have to be really, really methodical and smart. If you're Polaris, Lucid, or Dank Pengu, you cannot blow all of your engage and disengage before the fight has actually started trying to pick members, because if you do, Silver, Please Investigate, or Nard are going to dive your backline and kill Demps before he has the opportunity to do anything.
Yep. Here's the paranoia. It's a 1v2. Will he manage to get out of this one? Pops the Dominus, just trying to create a little bit of space, but there is just so much damage. It's not even to slow it forward. Taunt underneath the turret. They managed to knock down the Crocodile once again. Silver systematically being picked out in this top side, exactly like they need to do. But what can they do with it? It gives them a temporary reprieve, allows them to push out the top wave, but they are not getting anything else on the map right now. Cyclone on the 2. Demps might be the next to go down. Stand United to keep him safe. Wants to go right back in. Wants to return the damage. The metal ult on top of everything. Nard is the next to fall out of a fight that he picked. Please Investigate into the backside. Manages to get Lucid. What else can he get? Wants to get Demps as well. Double kill Polaris. Trying to buy just a little bit of more space while the Aries continue to do damage. It's a triple kill. Knocks him down. Polaris to fall. Gaming Lord turns it back around. It looked so good there for a minute. It looked like maybe Silvermanes were going to get a little bit more than they wanted. But BP turns it around with a fantastic fight.
Please Investigate, playing out of his absolute mind, is able to catch Demps on the retreat. Polaris and Demps thinking they can chase down Please Investigate and kill him. He's able to immediately turn around with a nice ult Q combo and just kills all three of them by himself. I would love to see how that went down, but damn, you're feeling good if you're on the side of BP, and you're extremely excited if you have Please Investigate as your mid laner in this tournament.
Oh, they might even get a second kill here. This is going to set them well up for Dragon. They'd like to knock down the support for free if they could, but they'll be happy with just showing him the door. They're going to set it for this Dragon, as there's a couple seconds still left in Polaris. They won't be in a good position to try and take this. I imagine they're going to try and run out and see if they can catch anybody with another paranoia as the reset's coming through. Bad time to start resetting, I think, if you're BP. You wanted to have complete control of this Dragon Pit. Now you don't have it right now. Please Investigate wants to try and see what else he can get as the Suns return back. The paranoia onto 1. Ari's down. This is what they need. Can they get more? They want to try and knock down the Renekton. You kill the Croc, you get the Dragon. He's dead. 2 dead for the side of BP. Silvermanes, they are fighting back.
What an exciting game. What a back and forth game we've got here. I can't imagine why Please Investigate standing that far up with Glacier in the rafters waiting.
We don't even have time to do the replay. I was going to show exactly how he managed to get caught. Glacier, though, eating so much damage. They have been pinging religiously down on that Baron, but I think they're realizing that even with 2 dead, that is still not their objective to take. They are still on a knife's edge with this game. And at that last team fight up in that mid lane showed anything. It's that BP can still throw a punch when they need to. But Silvermanes, they are fighting like mad to stay in this tournament.
100%. They're playing out of their mind, trying to stay in this game as long as they can. I think that if they can keep this up, they can get Demps onto more items. It makes the ability for Please Investigate to dive the backline that much harder. I just think if you're on the side of Silvermanes, you need to take some deep breaths, slow down, focus on objective control, or on vision rather, because you want to keep getting these nice picks onto Silver and Please Investigate as much as you possibly can. That being said, they need to be ever more what's the word I'm looking for? Vigilant, cognizant, thank you, of Gaming Lord. He is slowly starting to become a huge problem. He's going to start doing some massive damage if they leave him in the back line for too long, shooting pot shots over at the front line of Silvermane.
This is a massive turn in this 1v1 Fortune. Polaris starting to hold his own with Silver, though, but a Dominus Renekton still difficult to deal with. Passive lane of the stun, gets taunted up. That's a huge 1v1 to win in the bot side. Yeah, that was the answer that they were looking for. The damage is coming from the fact that he has built a number of very, very scary items. Obviously, he has the Bramble Dust going off there, but sorry, I said that wrong. But yeah, does have it built, and I mean that's the point. Like, you've reached a point in the game where Shen is really starting to no longer be afraid of the Renekton. You know, I mean, if that fight just showed anything, that was a straight up 1v1. There was no other help, no one interfered, and just in a 1v1 near minions, Silver lost it. So that is like, if you want to signal that the game is starting to turn in the favor of Silver mains, like that is the answer that you're looking for.
Yeah, we said it. I said it earlier, you know, maybe 10 minutes or so ago, that Renekton ceases to become a champ the longer the game rolls on. You know, once he gets to that third item, that's kind of his spike. So right now, he just got the gauntlet. It's going to give him a nice health shield should he can fall lower on health. Steric's Gauge, rather. Yeah. And so that is going to be a little bit of a power spike for him, but only if he plays the side lanes well. That being said, Silver was 6-1 or 6-2, I believe, before he consistently fell over the past few team fights, and he's now looking at 6-6. So Silvermane's playing doing an absolutely great job of countering that strong Renekton, playing around it correctly. And like you've said before, props to Glacier and Polaris for just playing together so well.
Well, Glacier's done a tremendously great job at setting up those opportunities. And I mean, question now, you know, obviously you highlighted like Silver's going to reach the point where he's really not going to get too much scarier. He's kind of reaching, you know, the peak of his build. At what point, if you're Silver mains, do you just kind of disregard the Renekton in a team fight and instead look to burst down someone else? If you're not tremendously worried about him getting kills, I mean, I don't think you just totally let him go, but maybe he's not the #1 priority in fights, because it's clear that he's struggling to kind of keep up now that the Silver mains comp is starting to scale and get where it wants to be.
I do not think you can ignore him. I think what you start to do moving forward is you prioritize the Glacier Polaris combo onto Please Investigate or onto Gaming Lord. Once that is done and you're already on their backline, Lucid and Dank Pengu have to do their absolute damnedest to keep the dives from happening onto Demps. Keep them alive as long as possible. Let Glacier and Polaris do what they need to do to kill the backline, and then start fighting front to back.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with that. I think with that target selection, because you highlighted earlier, Gaming Lord is going to continue to become very, very oppressive in this game. Does a tremendous amount of damage. It's only going to get worse. That poke becomes not just ticklish, it becomes damn near lethal if you don't respond to it. And, you know, the short-range composition of Silvermanes means that they have to be very proactive and get it. Glacier getting half of his health deleted there. This is going to be a big dragon fight. It's going to spawn in about 45 seconds. Both teams would like to get this. The question is, do they trade objectives? Does one choose to go to... Whoa! Dark Pengu sees a quarter of his health just absolutely deleted in one shot. This is where the target selection becomes massive. Shen pushing in the top side. BP, they're hovering towards this dragon. Do they make this trade?
They're sending Please Investigate to answer, which is the better option against Polaris, especially because Please Investigate has teleport available. If I'm on the side of Silvermanes, I'm trading for Baron. I do not care about them getting on the soul point. You are in a position where you win the later this game goes. You go for the Baron if they try to trade.
There's a lot of pings coming down. Both teams kind of viewing this game a little bit differently in how they want to prioritize things, but I think neither team, as you highlighted, they don't want to give this up. This is a huge Baron, and I think especially for BP because of their siege capability is just so much better. Look at how they're grouping, though. They want to make sure that they're protecting the squishier members from Glacier. They know that Nocturne is looking for Gaming Lord. They want the Caitlyn. They want the Ahri. They want to burst those two damage dealers out before they can get anything done. Meanwhile, though, on that bottom side, Nard is doing damage to the Baron. Can they get out? Follow it from Braum. That's the ultimate attack on top of people. Now Baby Josh is the next to fall. Lucid absolutely tearing through multiple people. Nard, though, still managing to survive for now. The Dragon absolutely discarded. They were trying to buy time for him to do it, but that ended up working. As Silvermanes, they've aggressed completely on top of them. Please Investigate just wanted to see if he could find something through the red buff pit, but came away with nothing. 2 down for the side of BP. Only two down also, I think, for the side of Silvermanes. But most importantly, the jungler's still up. That's going to be their third Dragon. They aim for the teleport. Oh,
they need to be so careful here. Please Investigate is looking for 4 kills right now. He's going to be able to get something off. If he gets a taunt off, this is their dragon.
Yeah. Polaris,
they should have it.
They should be able to get this, and yep, the dragon's going to go there. That's their third. One is the ultimate. Sent flying back towards the Caitlyn, but hey, massive win for Silvermanes. This is what we talked about.
They might go straight to Baron.
They might go straight to Baron, exactly. I mean, their target selection was fantastic, Black Mage, in that last fight. They killed who they needed to do. The Renekton Silver was never able to get anything going. They came out as an even trade, but most importantly, the jungle was still up, and that means free objective.
Yeah, if you're on the side of BP, even though you've had control for most of this game, you are sweating. This is not how you wanted this game to go, and Vayne's only going to get stronger and stronger as the game progresses.
Oh, is this getting pinged? Silvermane doesn't seem to know this is happening. Okay, yeah, they came out of that brush just a little too early. Charm on top of the Braum, not necessarily the target you want, but you'll take a free kill. No Paranoia to answer right now. Shin on the bot side. Is this a potential return for Baron? Dims caught out, Paranoia added. Wants to get on top of the Ori. Goes into the Golden Stasis. The Redemption on top of that. 2 dead. It might be 3. Glacier goes down. Oh no, Silvermanes. They thought that they had an opportunity, but they got caught. This is going to be the end of the game. Polara's running for the hills. No minion wave yet, so they can't necessarily end the game. They don't have any minions. They have the grubs. That's not going to be enough. They're going to reset. They're going to go look to Baron. Huge pick for BP.
A big sigh of relief on the side of Silvermanes that they could not end that game. But yes, great plays by BP sitting in that brush. Even though it's not the ideal target, hopping on the Dank Penguin and blowing your taunts like that, they immediately are able to follow it up and get a kill onto Demps and pull out the Glacier ultimate. This is going to be extremely tough for the side of Silvermanes because it's going to basically push out the game for another few minutes at least.
Backside, that shield didn't stop that slice and dice. They want to try and see if they can get the Silvermane's mid laner, but they're not going to be able to. The health bar's starting to get a little bit low. Though. Health bars so low that in fact you just got to call this off because you do not want Glacier coming anywhere near you with a Paranoia. Silvermanes, the stalling action worked.
Yeah, they stalled that somehow, and they're able to push them off the Baron. A miracle if you're on the side of Silvermanes, and I think at this point you really got to tighten up your gameplay and make sure that you check your P's and your Q's before you go into the jungle anymore.
Yeah, you got to cross the T's and dot the I's, and Silvermanes, they're doing everything they can to keep themselves in this game. BP, they're getting a little bit greedy in some instances. They're not quite like, I think you can definitely kind of see the nerves coming out just a little bit. We're like, hey, like we just want to move on from this series. You know, we want to put an end to this one and get out of this. But Silvermanes, they're not willing to go quietly into that good night. They want to go kicking and screaming if they could possibly avoid it, and they'd actually like to, I think, obviously extend this series, but it's going to come down to these plays. I mean, Glacier's just putting so much pressure on top of BP.
Yeah, I think we need to give praise, even if they end up losing this series, praise for this last game, this last attempt. They're playing this correctly, and they're playing with all their heart.
Yeah. Now we're starting to get into that interesting territory. With about 2 minutes, the Dragon will be up, so will the game stall for that long? BP huddling around this turret and the top side. They just want to hold on to this Bastion strength for as long as they can and use it to move out across the map. Reset's going to start to come through for a couple of members. This will be an interesting time to take a fight.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see this next fight be the last fight. I think if either team comes away with 2 or 3 kills, they're going to be able to push down these lanes fairly easily and end the game. So if you're on the side of Silvermanes, you have to make sure that when you pull the trigger, it's a kill shot.
Now, I feel obligated to live up to a promise. You know, I told anybody that if they bought Zonias, I would viciously ridicule them. And, you know, please investigate. Obviously, this is just for memes. Like, obviously, the Zonias is the right item to buy. It gives them a tremendous amount of protection. But also, we're a no Zonias gameplay around here at TLS. We don't like no stinky Zonia users. We die like men around here.
100%. Please investigate. Buying that item is awful. I hate it.
Horrible.
But it is probably the single best item you can pick into Silvermane's comp. We've seen him use it pretty well in a few of these past team fights to stay alive a lot longer than we thought he would live. We're gonna have to see if he uses it correctly this time coming around, but they're moving over towards Baron. I wonder if they're going to try to sneak it.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
They're spotted by that ward.
Yeah, they're spotted by the wards. There's also a pink ward, just a regular ward on the back of that. I do want to point out something important itemization, not only just the Zonias, but then also the Guardian Angel for the side of Gaming Lore. So they are recognizing what this Nocturne wants to do. They're recognizing, like, hey, they're not going to target the Renekton anymore, so we don't have a meat shield in that instance. Like, they're going to dive us specifically. So let's make sure we have at least 2 chances to correct this if somehow we miss position or if we just directly dive, because you can't stop the Nocturne from clicking on you. You know he's coming after you. So the only thing you can do is try to mitigate it. Oh, flash forward, double cycle. They want to get on top of Dims. He's down. That Vade is down. A huge portion of damage for Silvermanes is gone. The support along with it. This might just be Baron. Shin trying to push the top side. Will they look to end through mid? They have the minion wave. What else can they get? They want to get Glacier if they can. If you knock the jungler down, the Baron is free. Paranoia to bind. Just a little bit of darkness, a little bit of face to work with, as that's going to be the standing item to use as well. The health bars are low just on a couple of members, but they can look to reset. This Dragon is in their eyes, and they are in a supreme position to potentially end this game.
Still not Dragon Soul for the side of BP. It's another godsend, a miracle for the side of Silvermanes that they only got the 2 kills, and they're only going to get the Dragon to prevent the Soul for the side of Silvermanes. BP looking to back and reset before they position towards this Baron. I wonder if we're going to see them actually try to Baron fight. I think if you're on the side of Silvermanes, you're more than happy to fight into this Baron. I think your engage is a little better, but like you said earlier, Gaming Lord has that completed Guardian Angel. Please Investigate has yet to use his Zonias, so they have the defensive tools to prevent the all-in.
Yeah. And these team fights are on such a knife's edge between both of these teams. It's so difficult to know how they're going to go. It's all about that target selection, about who picks who. That was one of those rare moments where, close to the invisibility, then flashing forward, Nar was able to get that double cyclone onto a couple of members, specifically knocking down that Vayne, knocking out a tremendous amount of their damage, because without that Vayne, they are missing quite a bit in their team fight capability. If you knock her down, it makes it so much easier to fight for any of these objectives. Renekton, though, still on this bot side with this Shen. Remember, Polaris doesn't need the teleport. He can just join the fight anytime he wants. Silver will have to make sure that he has a ward to teleport to. Ping's coming down. Dark Pingu getting chipped away. And yeah, this positioning is just, it's so fraught. Polaris, he's going to knock down his turret. He's level 20. He's not at all scared of Silver.
Not even a little bit. He's going to be able to just stay in this, and that's a good thing.
Glacier, if he goes down here, this is Baron. They cannot afford to lose this teleport from the side of Renekton. The Shen using the Stand United tried to get there as well, but he was dead. The target he wanted to go to is now dead. That surely means the Baron for Baggy Pampers. Surely this is going to be the end of the game. Shen is just going to try to do something to trade on that bot side. Is anybody teleporting away? No, he's still being unanswered. He's going to for sure get at least one inhibitor. 3 on the Baron. Ari's going to go ahead and teleport back to the bot lane, so they won't lose too much more. They shouldn't lose the inhibitor. The turret will go down, but this is Baron for Baggy Pampers. Surely, Blackmage, surely this is what they needed to crack this game open and potentially end it.
100%, and the worst news is that Gaming Lord did not get his Guardian Angel propped, and the Zonias is still up and ready. So, in my opinion, the game's going to become a last stand in the base for the side of Silvermanes. I don't think you can fight for soul anymore. You don't have any, unless you set up some great vision, because there's just too many defensive tools online for the side of Baggy Pampers. They're going to have to play this perfectly.
Yeah. And speaking of playing this perfectly, Polaris having to get the hell out of dodge, even into his own jungle. And, I mean, this is where you start to see things kind of going downhill for Silvermage right now, because you can see exactly how Baggy Pampers wants to close this out. Like, you can see the vision of how they close this game out, what they want to do. I mean, it's a clear pathway forward. You've got Baron. Elder's going to be, the Elder Dragons, or sorry, not Elder Dragon, but rather Dragon Soul, because we haven't had 6 dragons stacked in a long while. You can see, ooh, is my camera messed up? You can see exactly how they want to end this out. 2 minutes is going to be Dragon available. They're going to start to slowly siege this out. I mean, you talked about the defensive itemization is so good for them right now that you have to be picture perfect on your engages if you're Silvermage. You have to get the perfect person every single time. But that is so hard when they are refusing to not group or refusing to ungroup as 5.
Yeah, it's so hard for Silvermanes to play this out now, because even if you dive on to Gaming Lord and kill him, you've basically got to keep Demps alive long enough for the Resurrect to come through and a second
Nocturne
death,
flank.
essentially.
Nocturne flank.
Nocturne flank.
Do they see him on this at all? They want to try and get a little bit of passive damage before they commit the paranoia, but he's not going to do it yet. It is going to get shown on that turret, so now they are aware of the potential danger. Do they want to try and rotate this through and pick up another turret? They have Baron for at least another minute. Do they want to try and tap him underneath this turret? No, they decide to get stuck between 2 turrets and an Nocturne. That is not the recipe for success. And
free turret for them, though.
Silvermanes, how bad do you want to fight this? What are you willing to give up? You're going to have to start making a checklist of things you can live without, and it's going to have to be that turret. Baron for another 50 seconds.
I think you look for a fight in the base, and if you kill them, you win the game.
He's very, very low, but that Guardian Angel is still an ever-present problem as Nocturne. Do you try and go in? I want to land a little bit more damage. This turret slowly getting sieged on Blackmage. This is a knife edge. Someone's got to pull the trigger. Someone's got to do something, because passively losing your base to a siege is not how you win the game. People getting run up, please investigate. Getting a little speed up. They're going to be happy with what they got. They're going to get the hell out of dodge, reset, and come back out for the drag. Or do they even reset?
Yeah. I don't think you reset. I think you go straight there, but it looks like they're trying to. And if you're on the side of Silvermanes, you need to identify this immediately and start positioning
They just lost his drag. They just lost his drag. They're not going to have a chance. Oh, no. Oh,
they
no.
caught him!
Oh, no. Baby Josh, that's not what you wanted. That wasn't the place to back. They've absolutely lost this drag. This is going to be drag soul for Silvermanes. Yes, they've lost quite a bit of their base, but there's almost no way you fight this. The Karma...
That's all of your disengage.
Not the most damage built into that Karma. Not necessarily the most healing, but the shielding is a huge important part of that. How do they win the team fight without this? Black Mage, Silvermanes. Oh, you win it by getting on top of Lucid. Can they kill them before the Stand United comes out? No. The shit is here.
Bad. This is so bad.
This is going to be the drop of the drag. Sorry, the drop of the jungler. He's dead. What else can they do? do, though. It's 5v3. It's Glacier onto the back line. The GA won't even matter if you get killed. He's dead, though. Gaming Lord has managed to salvage it. Silver will die, though. It's a 1v2. Silver mates, though. Oh, the timers. That's
you
the
kill
GA
him, you win the
puff.
game.
You kill him, you win the game. The death time response
They need to push mid now.
so long. They may not be able to end the game, though. They're just going to go straight to drag. They can't end the game because they don't have enough minions, and they don't have the tower. There's no way they can get from there to the base in time, but they absolutely can get the drag soul.
Yeah, you're right. I think if the bot lane had been pushing a little bit harder, they could have tried to push through bot and end the game. But with Please Investigate and Baby Josh up, it's just a little too risky. You run the risk of Please Investigate getting a nasty charm into a kill, and that just really kills your game plan. They'll settle with Soul.
Yeah, there's just no way for them to end the game, but a fantastic team for them. I mean, it was an overcommit onto Dimps. For the moment there, you could see the play. It was clear. Kill Dimps, you get rid of the damage, everything else is free. You can fight for that dragon even though you have a man disadvantage, but being a person down affects your ability to conduct those team fights so much, and they got punished for it. That Stand United bought so much time for Dimps. They turn it around, and Black Mage, I mean, again, we might get another round of Baron, and obviously Elder be on the table as well. A minute 30 before that objective spawns. This is so close.
100%. It is so close. This is probably the closest game of the entire tournament that we've seen so far. Closer than any of the games that we played in. And knowing that this game's almost a 45-minute banger with 7 souls on the board is just absolutely crazy.
All right. Silvermanes, you've continued to buy yourself a lease on life. You have the Infernal Soul. You have everything you need to potentially end out this game. It is so much extra damage from that Infernal Soul to pour into the members of Baggy Pampers. You know that that GA is down. It's going to be a while before it's back up. You know that, you may or may not know that the Zonies is still up. But you know that you have the ability to win this team fight as long as you can pick them. You know that you need to protect Vayne. All the tools are there. The game plan is clear. How do you execute, though? You've got to find a way to get on the members. You've got to kill Gaming Lord. You got to kill Please Investigate. You do that, you win the game.
Polaris needs to be side laning like a menace. He needs to create so much pressure that they're forced to send Silver back. At that point, you basically just play the Nocturne dive game onto Gaming Lord.
just made a mistake.
Get the kill.
BB just made a mistake. They were trying to position very, very aggressively for the Baron, thinking that they could draw Silvermane's into there. But Silvermane, they've just elected to run this down mid. Like, hey, you want to be positioned in the jungle? That's fine. We'll start to do damage to your base. We'll send Shin bot side and let him solo push this lane. You got to do something. Someone has to respond to him. But then as soon as you do that, we're going to go to Baron ourselves. BP are being pulled across the map in a way that is absolutely vicious. Silvermanes, this is it. This is everything you need. You have the tools. You have a busted inhibitor. You have threat towards that bot side. You can send someone to end the game. Polaris, he could do it if he wanted to. You have the ability to extend your tournament life right now. Ari's down there. He's going to continue to respond to these waves. Super minion wave now spawned. Pressure towards that bot side. Who wins this fight? I feel like BP need all 5 members to deal with Silvermane, but I feel like Silvermane, they only need a Nocturne, and they only need protection for the Vayne, and they could win this whole thing.
I think if you're on the side of Silvermanes, you are looking to pull the trigger as soon as possible while Gaming Lord's Guardian Angel is still on cooldown. As long as that's on cooldown, you have a clear target of who you need to knock down in these team fights. We see them controlling the top side jungle, trying to position correctly for Baron, but we both know they're not just going to do Baron. They're going to look for the kill first.
Absolutely. What else can they get? Is that Super Minion Wave starting to stack in that bot side? Someone will eventually have to answer them. Polaris just happy to passively apply pressure in this top side. Knows he has nothing to fear from the Renekton as long as he has help. Please investigate. They want to see if they can catch him out. Don't land the charm, and they're just going to force him out. But Polaris really not that much worse for wear. They're just passively pushing BP in.
Did they just do Baron?
Yeah, I think they're going to call it. Will BP be able to get there, though?
I think Polaris needs to go to the bot side, though. I don't know what they're going to do about this split pushing aspect of the game. Demps is pretty low on health, too, so he's going to be instantly macked. Another idea is even if...
Oh, here it goes. There's the Paranoia. They want to try and get the Caitlyn before her Paranoia comes off cooldown. 90 caliber net brings her to safety, though. Now now the Nocturne's own GA gets popped. He's rooted underneath the turret. There's no way that they can do Baron now because the jungler is dead. It's 5 alive for the side of BP. They get to reset and they can make their way towards that objective. But Super Minions. Oh, no, Nard is down. 50 seconds on that jungler. No one can really go into it, but they could choose to rotate forward with Vayne in help. They could just burst that Baron. And that's exactly what they do because they know Please Investigate has to respond to those mini waves. That's Baron for Silvermane. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take Baron as long as they're none the wiser, as long as BP does not pull the trigger and start fighting players and Ping and mid. They're going to be able to take this Baron without any counter.
And BP, you have to know that this is happening, but there's just nothing they can do about it. Lucid and Dems managed to pick up that objective. That is another thing in the pocket for Silvermane. It's another way that they can end this out. Baron in about 2.5 minutes. But win the game may not even make it that long because now Silvermane, they've got the ability to siege.
And for the first time this entire game, Silvermane's rather, with the gold lead.
It's a fragile lead, but it's hard won, hard fought for.
It's right. It's hard won, hard fought for, and I think we're seeing the fruit of their labor come to fruition. Demps getting almost has all 6 of his items, you know, as an AD carry in the new patch. You actually get 6 AD items, and that is just so threatening. If you're on the side of BP, you have to play so safe because if you don't dive Demps, if you don't get him CC'd, he's going to mac your entire team front to back, no problem. He's going to 4 or 5 shot silver, and then the rest of you are dead.
Absolutely. I mean, you're seeing, too, the strategic choice made there that he's choosing not to go towards a Guardian Angel, instead maximizing on that damage to be full team fight capable. But that means, though, that if they can't successfully get onto him, he's just going to pop like a balloon. But that has proven very, very difficult to kill that Vayne, especially now with all the protection it has around it. And now, what we were seeing out of BP earlier, where they were grouping as 5, now we're starting to see Silvermane sort of do something similar, where they have that passive offlaner in Shen just applying pressure in the solo lanes, trying to force these towers down, trying to get to these inhibitors. And the VP, they're really not a whole lot they can do about it. They're kind of at the mercy of wherever Silvermane wants to fight. They have to look for something. They have to look for Demps.
Exactly, and you know, one of the problems that we really haven't highlighted too much on the side of Silvermane's, we're going to see a team fight right now.
Nard, not going to be too much worse where. That's the Glacial Fissure down. But Shin still in that top side. They want to fight for this Elder. It is up in about 50 seconds, but meanwhile, their base is being destroyed. And Silvermane, they're just going to run mid. They're not even worried about it. Like, hey, you're way too early to this objective. They've been a massive miscall for BP. They're going to try and get this, but can they get back to the base fast enough?
It's risky. I think you might... Oh, they're on the other towers, but please investigate's able to counter.
That's 1 down, but it's still 4 alive. That's the paranoia on the
that's
tower.
Not where you want to be.
Oh, Silvermane, this could win you or lose you the whole game. As it stasis for please investigate. The Baron, it's not enough to do the damage. They're trying to see if they can damage the Nexus, but it's not. The Elder Dragon doing so much work, and now it's Demps. Surely the next to fall. Polaris used to stand united to buy him a little bit of time. Demps in the backline wants to try and do something. He's dead. Demps the next to go. They will have to clear the Baron minions out. Sorry, the powered minions out. But can they win? The death timer's so long. The only one that's alive is Dank Pingu, and he's surely cannot do it, but the base is in shambles for BP.
I like the idea of pushing in that fashion.
They can't end.
Yeah, they don't have the minions. I don't think they can do it.
They're going to try and run a minute, at least trying to trade for something, but the respawn timers even now aren't long enough. Even 60 seconds, not enough to end the game. They're just going to try and shove as much as they can, but they need to send somebody else down there to help with the other minions that are spawning in. They need to protect these inhibitors, but nobody is safe in this game.
Yeah, if you're Lucid, I don't think you're trying to protect this inhibitor even a little bit. I don't think you step up.
Does Gaming Lord try and end this? There's no way. There's no way. Still respawn. Nocturne is up in 12 seconds. Lucid is up now.
They could.
Oh, they want to try and end this. They just want to protect a couple minions. They are making the call to go for this. This is how you win or lose a game. They're going to try and just straight up damage the towers, damage the next where all the members can get up. This is win or lose. Right now, this is win or lose. Paranoia on top of multiple. Caitlyn hitting the base. This is it. Silvermane, they've lost it all. They pushed it and they lost it. BP win the series.
Oh my God, an absolute nail biter. But BP just taking the series is so crazy.
Oh my God.
I feel so bad.
I didn't think they could do it. I thought for sure with the amount of super minions that the timers weren't long enough, that they didn't have the minions that they need to get in the base, but they just said, to hell with it. We're gambling it all on this. Win or lose, we're going out on our shield, and you have to respect BP for it. But my God, Silvermanes, they made that second game so close. I thought for sure we were getting game 3.
Yeah, I could hear the silver scrapes in my headphones. And it just is such a heartbreaker for the side of Silvermanes. You saw such a valiant attempt in that last game. We really thought that they had a game plan picked out and they were executing it flawlessly over and over again. It seemed like as soon as they hit around that level 12 mark and actually got them into a nice lead. But at the end of the day, that Dragon Soul, not the Dragon Soul, the Elder Dragon rather, just proved to be too powerful, ends up getting them the win.
Absolutely. I mean, fantastic play by BP. I mean, they were willing to gamble it all. You have to respect the team that is like, we're not going to play not to lose. We're going to play to win. I love seeing plays like that. And while it is tragic for me that we're seeing Silver Mains out of the tournament already, it's just one of those things that's natural. Not every team can win. And, someone eventually is going to go out 0-2. And, commiserations to Silver Mains. They absolutely played their hearts out. They did the best that they could, gave us some phenomenal games. Like, their game twos in both series were absolutely amazing to watch. I think, like, if you're a fan of League of Legends, you were really happy with that. But BP delivering on an absolute banger, that is the stuff that you use to promote something like this, a league like this. When you're regular season and you want to show people what it can be like, you play stuff like that and say, this is what we're about. Massive respect to BP on winning their first series of this tournament and on continuing on the lower bracket. And Black Mage, I think we're going to wait for Hooli to run the poll on who we're going to get as an interview. But final thoughts before we send it to just a very short break.
Final thoughts. I just want to get, hats off for Silvermains. Played a great game there. So happy to see them perform well in this tournament. I'm sad to see them leave this early on, but I think they're a great team of guys. I'm just excited to see what they do next season.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to see where they'll come back at. I mean, there was a lot to be happy about in terms of their performance. I mean, they definitely gave it everything. And, I mean, that's how you get people to fall in love with your team, is when you make plays like that. And both teams played to win, like, no fear. Like, we're going to go out, we're going to try and execute our game plan. So you can only respect the effort for that. So, again, commiserations to Silver Mains, and we hope to see them again here soon within the next couple of months as we start the regular season. Congratulations to BP. They get to continue on in the lower bracket. And we will see them also later on today, potentially. But for now, we're going to toss it to a very short break. And then when we come back, we will have our interviewee. And then we will be moving on to the next couple of series in our tournament. So don't go anywhere, because we've got a hot interview coming right up. We are joined by the one, the only Silver from this series. Hey, man, how are you feeling after ending a game like that?
I am drained, man. I'm like really, really drained. It's just crazy. We just risked it all in the end there, and I am glad, because we really needed a break. The literally boys instantly got off and asked for a break. It's insane, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
Just even if we lost after playing a 50-minute game and forced to play another game, win or lose, that would have been even so difficult for us, because we don't know life all-day games, and so we're not used to that,
Yeah, you're not used to doing it anymore.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think something to think about, though, Mr. Silver. There ain't that much time between right now and the next set against Team Q. What are your thoughts going against them for a rematch?
The first thing, I am very curious if I'm going to see Shaco top again. I'll be excited for that. Other than that, I think our mental is getting reset right now. I think we're gonna be feeling really good. The edge here that we have mentally, at least, that we already won against them, so we know it's definitely possible, right? But it's definitely they had time to watch the games, they had time to analyze,
they're rested.
Time to prepare. We're warmed up though, so
True.
Don't take it easy on us, Team Q.
Awesome. Well, we don't want to hold you too long, because we know that you have to go get your series, and obviously Black Mage has to. So I'll just ask you, one more question. So you started off the series, with a loss, obviously to Momentum. That was a long series, and then you potentially almost had a long series here. You had a long 50-minute game as a second game. You're gonna be going into this series. What are y'all doing to kind of keep y'all's mental strong and stay fresh?
I don't know. Lock in has probably been used a lot during our comms. We did say lock in 3 times per champ select, probably.
Funny.
So yeah. But to be honest, Black Mage, you know why you won, right?
Uh-oh.
You won because we wanted the screen time. We wanted to be on stream right now. So sorry to break it to you. We just kind of threw on purpose, It was definitely not because you played really well. It was,
we suspected as much.
Funny.
Yeah. No, you did. You played super well, even though you swapped to top. I was impressed. Very nice.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, love to hear the smack talk between two competitors that might potentially see each other again through this bracket. We'll have to see how that matchup goes between BP and Team Q, and then between Momentum and Big Bird Club. Those matches are coming up. Obviously, we won't be seeing the lower bracket fight between Team Q and BP, which we would love to see, especially after what we just saw. But we got to go back up to the winners bracket. But obviously, I think we'll be able to see potentially these guys later on. Of course, got to see what Team Q.
Of course, we rigged the whole tournament so we could have a final, man.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to see how it goes, but I'm going to release both of these gentlemen to go to their teams and get ready. And I'm going to release you, the audience, for like 10 minutes. You get a 10-minute break, but then you have to come back, because if the players got to suffer through this whole day and be resilient, then so do you. So don't touch that browser. Go get a little bit of drink, go get a little bit of water, grab a snack, but get ready for another explosive series, because we're coming back with a winner's bracket run. Like, to be sure to be explosive. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few.